Hello everyone, thank you for joining in. We're just gonna wait for a few more people to join in today and then we'll start off this session. Hi guys and welcome to this week's edition of In the Spotlight. Today we have with us a young and enigmatic entrepreneur, Murad Kapasi, who's going to be the speaker for this evening and he's going to be talking about managing different days. So before we get him online, before he joins us, I want to say hi and welcome to all of y'all. Thank you for joining us again this week. Let's see if Murad is here, so then we can get him on board. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Vivek. Hello, Venkat. How are you?
Hi,
Hi, Murad. How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you doing, Rohit?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. I know it
No
is a
problem.
little late notice to you as well.
Yeah, no, actually today is Friday, right? So my week's almost ending.
Yeah.
So the longer I week, my work increases. But I was excited. This is my first Instagram live, so I was very excited to do this. So I devote some time. It's happening.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. So a lot of people are joining
Yes.
in today, and a lot of people are saying hi and hello to you.
Wow. All right. Hi guys. Wish you guys all a very good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm deeply honored to see so many people live. All right.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining in, and now I will give it up to Murad to take over and start his session. Murad, you can go ahead.
Definitely. So my session is very simple today. It was to manage different kinds of days, and I think I think this topic is a very important topic because managing your days is, I think, a big issue for most people, and this was like a very big problem I had myself when I was very new in this business. I remember when I started running my business, that was in 2018, right? I used to operate my office in Goa. I had a small little business running in Goa at that point of time, and no one actually told me that I used to work. I've been trained on how to run a business, and I've been trained on how to manage a team. But when I entered into that phase from managing a team to managing a business, I realized that managing a business is a whole different ballgame altogether, right? And I think that is why for any kind of person who wants to basically run a business, or I don't see it personally as just running a business, but any kind of person who wants to achieve any kind of success in life, it is extremely important to be planned with your days, all right, in business. Now, I'll tell you what's the biggest problem. All right. And you guys can type. I'm going to make this session interactive, right? I hate it when I talk and everyone else is listening. So I would love this session to be interactive. So I want people to type answers. Okay. So my question to you is, do you know what's the biggest problem in planning a day? Let's go. Let's see if we get any replies to it.
Sure.
Anybody wants to reply?
Anybody has
Does
an
any
answer for Murad?
does anybody have a reply to this answer? What is the biggest problem, all right, if you try to manage your day?
Well, I have an
Mm,
answer, and I would
all
say
right.
it doesn't go according to how you planned it.
Okay. So I'll tell you the problem is the question itself, right? So the problem with managing your day is that you cannot manage days. Days are too short term to be managed. Days are too short term to be planned, right or wrong. And I am someone, when I understood this topic, I was like, the topic cannot be how to manage or how to plan your days, but it should basically be how to manage your weeks, how to manage your months, and how to manage your quarters, right? Because see, when it comes to running a business, or when it comes to going and taking any kind of when it comes to running a business, or when it comes to any achieving any kind of success, right? You cannot do it over a span of one day,
Correct.
right? So you can't manage a day and expect the result to happen by evening. It's like going on a diet. If the results are going to come after a few months or after a few weeks, and that is exactly why even if you see CEOs of companies, they always plan their quarters. All right. Even we at QASPL, we have our quarterly meetings, right? And that is exactly why every kind of business, every big business runs on a quarter. The quarter is then broken down into months, and this is what I prefer doing. I don't really plan my quarters because I don't believe that the company I run is that big, which needs to be run on quarters. But I definitely plan my months in ahead, that I dedicate one entire month to one aspect of my business. Whether I want to focus, for example, if I want to take this month and I want to focus it purely based on sales, or I want to take a month and I want to I believe that a business grows in two ways. Either your business grows in number of sales, as in the existing number of people become stronger and better salespeople, right? Or I believe that business grows in number of size, where if you have a team of 25 people, it goes up to 35, 40 people, right? Something like that. So I like to plan my months like in that manner, to see whether is this month, am I going to increase my team size, or am I going to go out and increase the averages of my team size, right? And based on that, I will then break down my weeks. Based on that, I will then break down my days,
Correct.
right? So
Yeah.
I do something. I don't know. One second. Since I'm in my office only, I'll have it somewhere here. Yeah. So if you look at this now, I prefer planning my week something like that. If you see, I have all the way from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right. You won't understand my handwriting because I normally scribble it down. It's only for me to read. It's not for anybody else to read. So I can't really show you the whole piece of paper. But every week starts like this, with something like this, which I'm going to do on a Tuesday, what I'm going to do on a Wednesday. Right. Now that makes it so easy to manage my days, because I do this on a Tuesday, because I do this on a Sunday, on a Monday, on my holiday. I basically sit down, I remove half an hour of my time, and I plan my entire week, what I have to do on a Monday, what I have to do on a Tuesday, what I have to do on a Wednesday, right? And that makes it so easy to manage my days, because today's a Friday, right? So I just come to office, I open my timetable, and I say, okay, Friday, I have to do this, all right, and that's about it.
Okay.
I believe managing days is, and you can't change it. So I remember I asked you on WhatsApp that what exactly do you want me to talk about managing different days. And you told me say something about managing a difficult day and say something about managing an easy day. But
Correct.
that's the biggest problem, and that was a problem which I made when I was a new entrepreneur. That is something which I made I made those kind of mistakes. I remember back in 2018. All right. I used to make those kind of mistakes when I started my new business, that I would take ad hoc decisions. I would change my entire week planning, right?
Based on one day's
Based on,
result.
yeah, I would change these. Now, for example, this plan was set on Tuesday. Nothing is going to change this plan, no matter what happens throughout the week. So let's say, for example, you plan, okay, this week I'm going to focus on improving my team size. I'm going to ensure that my team is growing in size, right? But then what happens on the first 2 days of the week? Sales is sometimes low. So and this is a mistake I made when I was very new. So I started changing everything. I'm like, okay, now enough of building our teams. We have to focus on increasing the sales. The sales is low, but that is where problems occur. Problems occur when you take those ad hoc decisions. I believe that once your week is planned, right? No matter what you do, you should not change the plan, even if, because it's a business. And when you run a business is a roller coaster, right? It's going to go up, it's going to go down, right? And no matter whether you're up or whether you're down, you have to ensure that you are sticking to the plan which you made for yourself at the beginning of the week, and you have to plan your weeks are, and you have to plan the thing, and you have to plan your weeks depending on what you decided at the beginning of the month, right? So when you and then you don't move to, then you don't change those plans, whether your sales are up or whether your sales are down, it doesn't make a difference. You're not supposed to change the plan. You're supposed to continue with the plan, and you will see noticeable results after a month. You'll see noticeable results after 2 months. You'll see noticeable results sometimes even after 3 months.
Okay.
Right? And that is something how my office works. So how my office works is basically I have particular days. So every Tuesday is dedicated to me talking and teaching my people sales. I will only talk about sales that day. Every Wednesday is dedicated to me teaching my people how to recruit people. Every Wednesday is dedicated to me teaching people how to train people. And every Fridays are dedicated to me teaching people how to retain people in their teams. Okay. Now that doesn't change. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, same topics. That should never change. So it's like a fixed process which will always happen. And that consistency, all right, is eventually what goes out and in the long run changes the course of different businesses. Okay. And that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I understood this topic the moment you gave me this topic. I understood what I had to tell people, because because the reason why I understood exactly what to tell people, because I think that there are a lot of new entrepreneurs on this call, and there are a lot of budding entrepreneurs on this call, people who are still team leaders, people who are still trying to.
So my question to you is that, so when you spoke about all these things, you spoke from a business owner's point of view as to what you've been doing and how you've been making your plans and how you've not been changing things, irrespective, when the results come, not making ad hoc decisions based on a certain day's, result.
Correct.
What the people also want to know are that people who are on a lower level as of now, somebody who just started off in the business, somebody who's a trainer or a crew leader or an AO, for him to reach that place, so probably his day differs from the way you define a day. For him, it would be, okay, so like there was a question as to, when a day, like I was telling you on WhatsApp, what if on a certain day, you as a BA or a crew leader, your sale is very low or your team is not performing, has not performed. So how do you handle those days? And, especially from at that level, from the initial level when they're starting off, definitely for people who are business owners or going to be soon business owners, they can relate to what you just said more intimately than the rest of them.
So, see, as I already explained this to you, so as you told me that what should a team leader also do when his sales are low? What should a business associate? So now when team leaders go out and they are in the process of, let's not talk about just sales being low, because I know as a team leader, sales was never a problem for them. Because to be very honest, when I was a team leader, I really didn't care how much sales my team members were doing, because I knew that I don't make money on my team as of yet. Right or wrong. So you don't really think so from that perspective. But when you're a team leader, I think most team leaders care about how many people are walking into their teams, how many guys they have in their team, right? And if a team leader has 7 guys, but 7 guys don't walk in, 5 guys walk in, then the team leader starts panicking. Where are my 2 other guys, right? Because they are in the process of going out and building their teams, and they are in the process. And for them, the size of the team is a very more important factor than how much sales is the team doing, right?
Correct.
So that's. But then again, it's the same thing. I think team leaders also need to just follow a process where when I remember my trainer taught me this, that when you're basically going out and when you are basically building your team, you have different weeks. Like this week, I'm going to train somebody. Personally, I'm going to train somebody, right? This week, I'm going to work with one of my senior people in my team, my oldest member of my team. This week, I'm going to basically hire somebody new. This week, I'm going to sort out only income for myself. Like I remember when I was a team leader, because our payouts come after 3 weeks, right? Yeah. So I remember that my second week of the month was the most crucial week for me.
Okay.
Like that was a week where I would only dedicate to myself and ensuring that I personally go out and sell a lot and I personally make a lot of money, because 3 weeks after that would be the first of the next month. That is when my bills came in, my landlord asked me for my rent, right? All of those things. So I had this dedicated system that the second week of the month, all right, has to sort my personal expenses for the entire month, right? And then the first, third, and the fourth weeks of the month, I would dedicate it more towards my business. I would dedicate the first, third, and fourth week of the month more towards hiring people in the company, training people in the company, and promoting them. Hire, train, promote, hire, train, promote. That was my strategy. And
Okay.
that's how I exactly work. So I used to, and I think that's a great way for a team leader to break his day, right? So the team leaders should basically dedicate, especially team leaders living away from home. I'm from Bombay, born, brought up there, but my entire training happened in Hyderabad. I lived on rent in Hyderabad, and I would dedicate my second week of my entire of the month to handling my entire expenses like rent, bills, electricity, any kind of bill that has to be done, right? I would handle it with my second week expenses. My third week was dedicated to me hiring someone in the company, right? The third week was dedicated to hiring someone. The fourth week of the month was dedicated to training the person who I hired in the previous week, right? And then the first week, the next month was dedicated to ensuring that that person I trained is now coming through, that person who I trained is now getting promoted, so on and so forth. And I think a team leader should also stick with that process. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be the second week, third week, fourth week, and the first week. It can also be the first, second, third, fourth, depending on what is comfortable for a team leader. But I guess the team leader should go out and not change the week based on I don't think the team leader should change. Okay, I know sometimes when I had other colleagues as team leaders, and I remember they would change the entire plans, and they would tell me that okay, last week was bad, so this week I'm not going to hire anybody in the company. This week I'm going to focus only on myself. But I think that is where most people make the mistakes, because whether you're a team leader, whether you're a business owner, ad hoc plans. I think ad hoc plans is the reason why ad hoc change of plans, not ad hoc plans, but ad hocly changing plans, not sticking to the process is what leads to plans to fail in the first place. I think when it comes to managing days, managing weeks, or managing months, people just need to ensure that they be a bit patient, right? They be a bit patient. It's not, you can't expect results to happen overnight, right? You might lose out on some money when you're just starting the process, because you're also learning it. It's a new process, right? And you, like for example, right now, like COVID's happened, right? And we've just I work with my partners. I work with Krishna and Antriksh from one office, and we've come up with a plan which has never been used before, right? We've come up with a plan which has never been used before, all right? And we did not see any results happen in the first week itself. But we didn't change the plan ad hocly, right? We just continued, and today we are sticking to that plan for the third week. And I think we are expecting a lot of promotions in this week. So I think by the end of this week, we'll be seeing I don't think Hyderabad saw a single promotion in the past 3 weeks. But I think this week onwards, by the end of this week, we can expect at least 5 promotions within a span of 1 week, which is great. But we have to be patient for 3 weeks, right? It takes time for the ball to start rolling. It takes time for it. And I think patience is key when it comes to managing your days. And I think if a person can, and that is something which is difficult, because I made that mistake so many times. I laugh at myself right now. I laugh at myself of how immature I used to be back in the day whenever there was a slight loss of money, or whenever there was a slight dip in my sales, I would just change everything ad hocly. I'm like, okay, this is not working. Let's go back to sales, right? But I think staying calm, staying patient, letting things work. You just need to understand that if a process takes time for people to adjust and understand, and if you can go out and if you can be patient with that, the results will definitely show in the long term. That's what I wanted to say.
Perfect. And also, something you would say to the BAs who are just associates who are just starting off. How do they take what? How do they take a look at all this, the situation or
Do you
whatever? Like,
VAs who are starting off, I would just want you guys to chill. I want you guys to enjoy. I want you guys to take this as a learning opportunity. You guys need to relax. If you're not a team leader, right? If you are reporting to a team leader still, you still don't have your own team, please enjoy this process. This is one of the most exciting job profiles to be in, right? This is the only place where this is the only business opportunity, or this is the only work opportunity where you'll get, where people are at the stages above you are going to train you, right? Where people above are going to train you, and they're going to train you without expecting anything in return. They are going to very selflessly train you. They are going to teach you skills that you've never learned. You will yourself see yourself improve. You will yourself see your skills improving, right? You just learn things. Go walk. I would suggest for every new joinee, instead of walking into this company like a job or like an employee, just walk into this company like a student. I think the best advice I can give you is just walk into this company like a student and take all the free knowledge which you're getting. You're getting so much of knowledge, and this is something which nobody I mean, come on, the business model is one of the best models in the world. Like, the business model tells you that I am going to train you on how to run a business, and then I am so confident about my training that I am going to invest money into you once you complete my training. Like, are you guys even hearing this, how good this is to be true? If you tell this to somebody that if you remove my company, remove my company as a business. Okay, let's assume that Flame is not a sales and marketing company. Let's assume Flame is a educational institution, right? Now imagine this conversation. If you're referring my company to one of your friends, you're basically going out and telling a friend that I have come across this educational institution which trains you to run a business for free, right? And once you complete the training, they will also give you an investment to run your own business. That sounds like a scam. It is so good that it sounds like there's something wrong with it. You're understanding my point? And that is something which no one's going to give you. Like, there's no MBA college in the country which will be like, okay, I'm so confident about my training that once you complete your course, once you get your diploma or your degree, that college is going to invest money into the student. But that is the only thing we, as all the companies which are tied up with QASPL, right, can provide. And I think that's what every new person should understand. All right, and that's what every new person should just be like, yeah, this is great. I'm getting to learn such a lot without paying any fee for the learning. It's a completely free of course educational. In fact, they are paying me for it. All right, they are paying me based on my performance, right? And the training is difficult. I'll be honest, it's not the easiest training in the world, but it is a difficult training. It is a challenging training. But if I do complete the training, right,
Yeah.
I get an investment to run my own business. So I think the new, when I was new, this is what I understood about the business module. This is what I understood. And I was just so excited because I didn't even care whether I complete the training or not. I didn't even know that I'm going to complete this training. I didn't know. I joined the training program back in 2015. Right. And in 2015, I had no idea whether I'm going to come to Hyderabad. I had no idea that I'm going to complete this training. I just thought that it's free. I'm getting to learn. And on top of that, these people are paying me to learn. So I was enjoying myself. I was just coming into office every day with this big learning environment, excited to learn, right? Like how I used to go for my football coaching. It's just go excited to go and learn something. And this is how this was just like this. How as business coaching, and I went to it with full excitement and full energy, just wanting to learn things. I think most of the times the problems occur not because people don't. I think new people, if they don't do well, it's probably because they look at it like a job. Oh, when will I start making money? When will this happen? When will that happen? What if this happens? But look at it like a educational institution. And I think new people will do so well in this business if they only focus on learning rather than looking at this like a job profile. That's about it.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Murad. So let's see if anybody's got a question. Now is the time that you guys can ask a question to Murad. So if you have questions, you can drop it in the comments, and Murad will Look at this. A question from It's Not Navina. Okay, so this is a question from It's Not Navina. It is when you are a fresher, how did you deal with your day one, and how do you deal? How do you feel on the last day of the month? So it's like when
I'm
you're a fresher, how did you deal with day one, and how do you feel at the end of the month?
when I was a fresher, I think when I was very new in this business.
Yes.
And how did I deal with my first day of the month and the last day
How
of
did
the
you deal
month?
with your day one, and how did you feel at the end of and the last day of the month? So so the person is talking about one whole month. When you start off, do you complete one day? So how do you deal with things?
Okay, so in my one, I mean 1 month is too short. I mean it's not too short. Actually, it was very very good, right? So, but I mean, how did I feel in 1 month? I mean, I felt great. See, I felt great from day one of this business. See, I understood that because I was learning every single day, and you learn very slow. But I think when you look 1 month back. So when I was 1 month in the company, I had completed my stage one criteria. That means I had learned how to successfully sell, and I had also hired somebody in my team, which means I had learned how to successfully recruit. Right?
Correct.
So I felt like a boss. If you're asking me how I felt, and after 1 month, I felt like a boss because I remember this person who I hired into my company who I hired to be a part of my team when I was very very new. That person was approximately 2 years older to me, right? So I was 21, all right, as a fresher, and that person was 23, and I felt like a boss because I'm hiring someone in my. It's like I'm working only for a week. I have 1 week of experience, and I have 1 month of experience. Sorry, because I was fresh out of college. I had no work experience before that. So I have 1 month of work experience. You have 2 years of work experience, and look who's interviewing whom.
Correct.
So, and look who's reporting to whom. To the person with the 2 years of work experience is coming and reporting to the person with 1 month of working. I obviously didn't tell him that I have 1 month of work experience. I thought that person won't take me seriously if I tell him that I have 1 month of work experience. But in my head, I was thinking of all of these things. So I felt like a boss. To answer your question, Navina, I felt like a boss after 1 month being in the company. Sounds good, and I think you should enjoy that. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean by every new person should just enjoy this. You should feel like a boss. Like till today, I remember my mom. She used to always. She still does actually. She always tells me, but my mom.
Okay.
And when I sit down as an entrepreneur today, and then when I'm interviewing people on the other side who are postgraduates, and then I'm like, I always send those pictures to my mom. I click pictures of the resumes. I'm like, look at this. This is why I told you that education wasn't important. Practical education was. It's just that boss feeling. I think I felt as like a boss to just keep the answer very very simple. That I felt like a boss, and I think this is what every new person should enjoy. That boss feeling you can get just by being 1 month or 2 months old in a company.
So we have a question from Saujanya, who asks, some of our team members don't listen to us, don't fulfill their responsibilities. How do you deal at that time? How do you deal with the situation at that point of time?
See, not everyone's going to listen to you. It's okay. It's fine. You went on the field to learn sales. Why? Because you understood one thing, that when you go out and look at team building from the perspective of doing sales on the field. Not every customer agreed to listen to you. Not every customer bought from you. Similarly, not everybody in your team will listen to you, right? And that's okay, because some people can't relate with some people can relate with some people. It's nobody's fault if someone's not listening to you. We can do everything that, I mean, you can. I think, see, I'll give you a very good answer to this question. If you want people, it's not about whether people listen to you or don't listen to you. It's about what do you do. You have to dedicate your life. So I'm a big believer in karma, right? And I just believe that if karma says that if you do anything bad, right, you will have to pay for it, right or wrong. Now believe in the other way of it, which goes like, if you do good things will happen back to you. And I'm a big believer of that kind of karma, that if you do good things selflessly, don't expect anything in return. Right? The most people do good things, most people do charity, they do good things, but then they expect something back in return from other people. But if you can go out and
I think you're facing some kind of a technical issue. I guess he'll be back online pretty soon. I think there was some technical issue. I will just see if he's back online. Sorry that he got disconnected. So sorry guys, I don't know what's happened. Murad has disconnected. I think he's facing a problem with his network. We will wait for some more time. Let's see if he's back online. Is Murad back? Yes, Murad is back. Let's try adding him.
yeah, sorry, there was a power cut in Hyderabad, and then the backup inverters took some time to.
Oh,
Because of
that's
sort of,
okay. That's okay. So people were nice enough to wait. People have said that we will wait for him. So which is very sweet of them. Thank you so much
that's
guys
why.
for waiting.
So what
All
was
right, so let's continue with what we were talking about.
I know what I was talking about. So I was just telling people that if you want if you want people to listen to you, right? People will always listen to you if they get a genuine feeling. Like, and you know, I'm with, and this is a very personal thing to my side. And my trainer, my leader, my mentor, his name is Antariksh, and I always get the feeling that he's never let me feel that I never feel insecure with him, right? I feel very secure with my leader. I feel he's a very selfless person, right? And he's very selfless. I feel very secure with him. Like, I remember I met him when I was 21, right? And I was like, dude, if I'm with this guy, right, my career is sorted. Like, I just knew it. I just knew that if I stay with Antariksh, right, if I am with him, my career is sorted. Like, I don't know anything else. I don't know if my career is going to be sorted without him. But I know I know this guy, he wants to basically go and achieve a lot in life. And if I stick with him, I'm sorted. And I think I was right, because look where I am now. So I think I was absolutely right 5 years back to make that decision to stay with him. And I got that feeling for two reasons. If you want people to listen to you, so two reasons. Number one is Antariksh was very ambitious. He still is. I mean, Antariksh is very ambitious, and he's taught
I think he's facing some electricity problem in Hyderabad. I guess we're so sorry about this. I'm sure Murad is sorry as well. Let's just wait for him to come back online. All right.
And at the same time, along with believing that you're an ambitious person, they see that your ambition requires the people around them to grow. I don't think people will ever stop listening to you. Like, I don't see any reason for me to stop listening to Antriksh. I don't see any reason for me to stop listening to Sagar, right? It's because I know these people are very ambitious and their ambition includes my growth as well. And I think that's why I don't see any reason to not listen to them. You get my point, and I think that's one thing you can showcase to your people. If you showcase this to your people that you're an ambitious person, and at the same time your ambition involves them to grow as well. I think more people will listen to you. Now, I'm not saying no one's going to not listen to you. Some people will never change. Some people will never understand this. Some people will always be ungrateful. But yeah, definitely more number of people will start listening to you compared to what is the current situation. I hope that also answers the question.
Yeah. So we have a question from Innocent Boy Ram, who says, "What is the best way to promote an owner as soon as possible?"
To promote an owner?
Yeah. To promote someone to ownership.
I have never promoted someone to ownership yet. I'm the wrong person to ask this question to, because I have personally, I'm still getting the hang of it. I was very close, unfortunately, of COVID. It takes everybody a few months back, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that I did do was, I think you need to see. I don't think you can promote anybody to an owner, because I think a person has to want to get promoted to an owner himself. You can just do exactly what I told you to do in the previous answer. You can just be ambitious, right? And you can help other people without expecting anything in return, right? And you have to do that for 100 people, and one person who wants to become an owner, who wants it badly, will just go out and get promoted. I don't know how right I am, because I have not done it personally ever, but I was very close. I was very close to promoting one. So I think that's the way of doing it. What got me close to promoting an owner was the fact that I just was ambitious. I wanted to help other people selflessly. I wanted to educate people. You can just educate people. You can't promote an owner. You can just educate someone on how to become an owner. Now, the person who is motivated enough will take that education and implement it. The person who's not motivated will not implement your education. Right? That's what I honestly feel.
All right. So we have one more question from Venkat. This is from Venkat Rao, who says, "How to fulfill sales, team sales, and individual sales?"
How do you fulfill your team sales and individual sales?
Yes.
Enjoy sales. Enjoy sales. Sales is something which you need to enjoy. I mean, think about the other places you could be stuck. You could be. There are so many different kinds of things where you could be stuck. You could be stuck in a data entry job. You could be stuck. I love it. Don't you love talking to people? Who's this person who asked me this question?
Somebody called Venkat Rao Chaudhary.
Venkat, don't you like talking to people? Don't you like interacting with people? Like how I'm doing right now. I'm just talking with you. I'm just interacting with you. I love this thing. Like, this is my favorite thing to do. Go up to people, talk to people, have a conversation with people, and that's what sales is. Sales is just go up to people, talk to people, interact with people, right? It's not difficult because it's only talking. And I think everybody has 20 years of experience in talking over here, even if you're a fresher, right? So I think people need to just enjoy. I love sales. I enjoy it. Like, it's something like I really like. I never look at myself as one of, many people look at. I mean, sales is not the most glamorous field in the corporate world, right? And I don't know why is sales not very glamorous. I think sales should be one of the most glamorous fields in the corporate world, right? I think many times companies when they don't go out and when many times companies when they don't get people with good resumes, they go like, "Acha, aapka resume acha nahi, aap sales karo." I think that's wrong. I think sales is one of the most important fields because that's the only part of the business which is bringing money inside the company. There is no other division of a business that brings money inside a company. So I think if you're going out and doing sales, do it with a lot of pride. Number one, it doesn't matter where you're doing it, do it with pride, right? Doesn't matter what kind of sales you're doing, do it with pride, and enjoy how you can interact with people, how you get to talk to people, and enjoy it. And when you enjoy something, right? Don't bother about the results. There will be days where you will work and you will not crack a single deal. You might not get a single sale. There will be such kind of days, obviously. But always remember that that if you enjoy yourself, you've actually not wasted your day. You know that John Lennon said this, the musician, that if you spend your time enjoying, your time was never wasted. Right. So if you spend your entire day enjoying the process of sale, and just like my main topic, that how becoming successful at business is a process, you have to do the same thing every day and then you see results in the long run. Sales is also somewhat like that. You do the same thing every day and then you see the results coming in the long run, right? And so you just enjoy every day. You come every day, you enjoy yourself, and then you see in the long run you're doing better. Your results are coming in.
So I'm going to ask you two more questions. So I'm going to merge one question from two people. One is, it's again it's not Navina, who says, how do you handle objection? And the second part of the question is from Girish Malishetty, who says, how do you understand customer emotion and need? So, how do you understand customer emotion and need? And two is, how do you handle objection?
Customer emotion, need, and how do I handle? See, handling objections to not. I have made my peace with objections. That is like, I have made my peace with it. There's nothing to handle about it. I don't try to handle an objection. I ignore objections. So I don't think you should handle an objection. I think you need to ignore an objection. Sounds good. All right. So when someone just tells me a no, I don't spend. So I do this. I have this thing called the 5x5 rule. I saw it on the internet, and I think some of you guys must have also seen this on the internet before. It's not an original quote by me. I've seen it on the internet, but it's a very deep quote. I mean, half the things on the internet I don't believe, but this quote stuck to me. Right? I think I was around 18 years old when I saw this quote on the internet, which went like, if something won't make a difference to you 5 years from today, don't spend more than 5 seconds thinking about it. Right? That's something I said on the internet approximately 8 years back. It's still it's still with me. All right. It still makes a big difference to me. It's what I'm doing with COVID, because I know COVID is kind of damaging the business right now, but it won't make a difference 5 years from today. COVID will be nothing. That's why I try not to spend more than 5 seconds thinking about COVID. Objections are the same thing. Think about the objection which you got. The customer told you no, right? A potential customer who said he will give you a big deal. He said, okay, yeah, I'm going to give you a sale worth 60,000 or 20,000, something like that. That person told you suddenly no. And I know it's disappointing, but is it really going to is that one deal of 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, is that deal going to make a difference to you 5 years from today? No, right? Then do not spend more than 5 seconds thinking about it. That's how I handle all my objections. How do I understand customer emotions? I don't. I don't think you need to understand emotions of customers. Customers are people you will mostly spend 5 minutes and 10 minutes of your time with, and probably you will never again see them again, especially in a direct sales. I mean, unless you're a businessman who's having a relation with a client and then you're creating a long-term relation with your clients, then that's a different story altogether. But the customers whom you meet in direct sales, at least in our business, you won't be spending more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes with them, and there's a 99% chance you will never see that man again in your life. So I would really want to understand my customers' emotions or do any kind of magic with him and hypnotize him and make him very emotional as a person. I like to play it like a game of hide and seek, right? Where I explain my product to a bunch of 100 people, and someone who wants to buy it will buy it. Someone who doesn't want to buy it will not buy it. So it's for me, it's more like a game, right? For me, it's more like a game, right? Um, where you just pick up the correct, like it's like those games you see on TV shows. There are three doors, and behind one door there's the car, right?
Yeah.
Only you're instead of three doors, there's 100 doors, and you just keep opening the doors till the time you don't find your car. You don't really create an emotional attachment with the other doors. Right or wrong?
Okay, I'm going to ask you one last question,
Yeah.
and we will end it for today. So this is from Sandy, who says, as
Okay.
humans, we have many mood swings in the field. How do you handle
Okay.
that on a day-to-day basis, and how do you re-energize yourself on a daily basis?
I Netflix and chill every night. No, I think our business does require a lot of rejections. I think the reason why we work with such big clients across the country, I don't know. Am I allowed to take the names of the clients? No, I can't.
No.
Work call. All right. The reason why we basically is, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why such big clients want to work with us is because, yeah, I can't take the names, but okay, why such big clients want to work with us is because I think taking rejections is not something which everybody can do. It is challenging. It is difficult. And we can do it. We are very good at doing it. We train people on taking rejections. Our job profile involves, I think more than selling things, our job profile is taking a rejection, right? I think that's my job profile. My job profile is to take a rejection, and it's not an easy job profile to do. So I think it's very important that everybody, and this is something I have been doing since I was what I want to do. I'll talk to one of my family members, my mom, dad. I'll talk to one of my friends back in Mumbai. I'll watch Netflix, and I'll watch Netflix and chill. I'll watch a movie. I'll open up a beverage for myself, right? Whatever, but it's my me time, and I do that every night, half an hour, 1 hour, between half an hour. I don't cross an hour because I get so exhausted that in 1 hour I pass out, right? But I think that's a compulsion to do every night. I think every night it's called an unwind. I think you unwind yourself with all the objections and rejections you have throughout the day, and that rejuvenates you for the next day.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Murad, for joining us today. And
Correct.
thank you so much for spending time and talking to our lovely, lovely audience.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. All right. It was a pleasure. Have a great day, guys. Wish you guys all the best. See you. Bye bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you next week with another session of In the Spotlight. We have another great speaker coming up next week. So keep tuned in to our Instagram page and our Facebook page to know who the speaker for the next week is. Until then, you all guys take care of yourself. Have a good evening and enjoy yourselves. Bye, everyone.